When you look at the life you've been given, you'll see it is not meant to be wasted. Time is not a toll. Opportunity is not an accident. Every single day you wake up, you're holding a chance to build something greater than yourself. But the difference between those who dream and those who do is that one group only talks about what they want, while the other is willing to sweat, sacrifice, and suffer until their vision becomes reality. The hustle is not glamorous. It's not always pretty. It doesn't always bring applause. Many times, the hustle means showing up when no one is watching, pushing forward when you feel empty, and believing in a future no one else can see but you. And here is the truth. You cannot despise the grind and expect the reward. You cannot hate the process and expect the prize. If you want to hold the crown, you must first be willing to carry the cross of discipline, pain, and persistence. Loving the hustle means loving the unseen hours. It means embracing the lonely nights, the early mornings, the setbacks, the rejections, and still saying, "This is part of my story, and I will not stop." Those who love the hustle understand that greatness is not built in one moment, but in thousands of moments stacked on top of each other, each one demanding effort, each one demanding faith. Don't be fooled into thinking shortcuts will take you to the top. What is easy will not last, and what lasts will never be easy. The hustle is the path that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It tests your character, your will, and your endurance. But when you love it, when you truly fall in love with the struggle, you stop looking for the finish line, because the journey itself becomes the reward. Some of you have been waiting for motivation to appear before you act. But motivation is born out of action. Start moving, start grinding, start building, and motivation will meet you along the way. Love the hustle because it shapes you. Love the hustle because it grows you. Love the hustle because without it, the dream dies in your hands. Every champion you admire, every leader you respect, every voice that inspires you, they all share this one thing: they embrace the hustle. They chose discipline over comfort, growth over excuses, and perseverance over quitting. You can too. So today, make a decision. Stop despising the work. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop wishing the road were easier. Love the hustle, because when you do, you'll realize the hustle is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally, and it will take you places talent alone never could. The hustle is the path to growth, and this truth cannot be ignored if you truly desire to rise beyond mediocrity. Many people want success, but very few are willing to embrace the struggles that come with it. They see the glamour of the destination, but they do not want to walk the rough road that leads there. They admire greatness from afar, but they shrink back when it demands long nights, early mornings, sacrifice, and tears. Yet it is in the very act of hustling, in the dedication to keep moving forward despite resistance, that growth takes place. You cannot expect to become more without first going through the fire that shapes you. Growth never comes in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is where dreams die, where potential remains untapped, and where greatness is suffocated. The hustle, however, forces you out of that zone. It pushes you to stretch beyond what you thought was possible. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, every time you choose discipline over laziness, every time you say no to distractions, you are not just working. You are growing. You are building muscles of endurance, courage, and resilience that will serve you in every area of life. The hustle is not just about achieving something external. It is about transforming who you are inside. A person who hustles learns patience when results are delayed. They learn humility when the process humbles them. They learn strength when obstacles rise up against them. They discover faith when the odds are stacked too high. Without the hustle, these qualities would never be born. Without the grind, your character remains untested, your abilities remain hidden, and your potential stays buried. You see, success is not handed down. It is not inherited. It is built. It is crafted with blood, sweat, and countless unseen hours of dedication. And while others may see only the final product, the crown, the reward, the applause, you must come to love the process that no one sees, because that process is the true classroom of growth. It teaches lessons you cannot buy, it shapes qualities you cannot fake, and it forges a spirit that cannot be broken. When you love the hustle, you stop resenting the pain. You stop wishing for shortcuts. You stop complaining about how hard it is. Instead, you embrace the struggle as a teacher. You see the rejection as redirection. You view the setback as setup for a comeback. You look at the grind not as punishment, but as preparation. And that perspective is what separates those who rise from those who quit. Because everyone feels the pain of the hustle, but only those who love it will stay in the fight long enough to see the harvest. Think about a seed planted in the ground. It is buried in the dark, surrounded by dirt, pressed down by weight. But the struggle of pushing through that soil is what makes it strong enough to stand. Without resistance, the plant would never grow roots deep enough to survive storms. The hustle is your soil, and the struggle is your resistance. Without it, you would remain shallow and fragile. With it, you grow strong, unshakable, and prepared for the storms that life will bring. There will be times when the hustle feels endless, when progress seems invisible, and when quitting appears easier than continuing. But those are the moments that define you. Anybody can keep going when success is visible. Anybody can be disciplined when the reward is near. True growth, however, happens when you keep pushing without seeing the results. When you remain faithful to the process even when no one claps, even when no one notices, even when it feels like nothing is changing. That is when your spirit is forged into steel. You must remind yourself that the hustle is not your enemy. It is your ally. It is shaping you into the person who can carry the blessing you are asking for. Because the truth is, if you received the reward without the hustle, you would not be ready to handle it. You would not have the wisdom, the resilience, or the maturity to sustain it. The hustle makes sure you can not only reach your dream, but also sustain it once you arrive. Loving the hustle also means loving the discipline that comes with it. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It is the freedom to say no to what weakens you, so you can say yes to what strengthens you. It is the ability to rise early, to work hard, to keep going, even when excuses sound sweeter than effort. Every act of discipline is a brick laid in the foundation of your growth. And every day you choose discipline over comfort, you are building a life that cannot easily crumble. There is no greatness without growth, and there is no growth without hustle. You cannot avoid it. If you want the reward, you must first walk through the fire. If you want the crown, you must first carry the cross. The hustle is where you are tested, and the test is what makes the testimony powerful. So, do not run from the hustle. Do not despise it. Do not waste your energy wishing the road were easier. Instead, thank God for the struggle. Thank Him for the opportunity to grow. Thank Him for the lessons in the grind, because they are shaping you into the person you were created to be. Fall in love with the hustle. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Love it because it turns weakness into strength, fear into courage, and dreams into reality. Love it because every step, every sacrifice, And every setback is working together to make you stronger, wiser, and greater than you were yesterday. And when the day comes that you finally see the fruit of your labor, when you finally walk in the victory you've been striving toward, you will look back and realize it wasn't just the reward that mattered. It was the hustle itself, because the hustle was the path that grew you, the process that refined you, and the journey that prepared you for everything you were meant to become. Discipline over comfort is the choice that separates those who only wish from those who actually achieve. In every season of life, we are given moments where we must decide, do I give in to what feels easy now, or do I choose the harder path that leads to a greater tomorrow? Comfort will always whisper in your ear. It will tell you to rest when you should rise, to give up when you should press on, to settle when you were made to soar. But discipline speaks with a different voice. Discipline says, pay the price now so you can enjoy the reward later. Discipline says, do the work even when you don't feel like it. Discipline says, keep going, because what you are building matters more than the momentary pleasure of ease. Every success story is rooted in discipline. The great athletes, the powerful leaders, the innovators, the men and women who transformed the world, they all carried this principle deep within them. They understood that comfort is temporary, but the fruits of discipline last a lifetime. Comfort will leave you in the same place you started, but discipline will carry you into places you never imagined you could go. Think about it. Comfort never asks for sacrifice. Comfort never asks for courage. Comfort never demands that you push beyond your limits. Comfort simply asks you to stay where you are, to accept the average, to remain ordinary. But discipline demands more. It pulls you out of bed when the world is still sleeping. It makes you turn off distractions and focus on the task at hand. It asks you to push through the pain, to rise above the excuses, to give your very best even when no one is clapping for you. The danger of comfort is that it feels good in the moment, but it steals from your future. The danger of comfort is that it makes you think you are safe, when in reality, you are stagnant. The danger of comfort is that it hides its cost until years have passed. And then you look back and realize that you traded growth for ease and dreams for rest. But discipline is different. It hurts now, but it heals later. It stretches you now, but it strengthens you later. It costs you something today, but it repays you with interest tomorrow. There is nothing easy about discipline. It means choosing the salad over the burger, the workout over the couch, the book over the phone, the practice over the party. It means saying no to what feels good now so you can say yes to what will feel amazing later. Discipline is rarely enjoyable in the moment, but when you learn to love the process, you start to see it not as a burden, but as a gift, because every act of discipline is proof that you are serious about your future, that you are committed to your vision, that you will not let temporary feelings dictate your destiny. Life will test you. It will put obstacles in your path, temptations in your way, and excuses in your mind. And in those moments, you must decide, will I take the easy way out, or will I stand firm in discipline? Because comfort will not strengthen you, but discipline will. Comfort will not sharpen you, but discipline will. Comfort will not build the foundation for your future, but discipline will. The truth is, every great victory is paid for in advance with discipline. You cannot harvest success in the fields of comfort. You cannot reap a future you are unwilling to sow with consistent effort. You cannot demand results from a life lived in ease. If you want something extraordinary, you must be willing to give something extraordinary. And that extraordinary thing is discipline. The daily choice to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is not about being the strongest, the smartest, or the fastest. It is about showing up day after day with commitment in your heart and action in your hands. It is about proving to yourself that your goals are greater than your excuses. It is about knowing that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the regret of neglect is permanent. Ask yourself this: do you want a life of comfort? Or do you want a life of meaning? Do you want to be remembered as someone who took the easy road, or as someone who pushed through the hard road to build something remarkable? Comfort will not be remembered. Discipline will. Comfort will not leave a legacy. Discipline will. Comfort will not change your life. Discipline will. Look at the most difficult areas of your life right now. Maybe it's your health, your relationships, your career, your faith, your dreams. Ask yourself honestly, am I choosing comfort or discipline? Am I settling for what feels good now, or am I willing to do the work that will change my life later? The answers to those questions will determine the direction of your destiny. Do not be fooled into thinking that discipline is something only a few special people are born with. Discipline is not a gift. It is a choice. Every single day, you can decide to take control of your habits, your actions, and your future. Discipline is built like a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more you choose discipline over comfort, the more natural it will feel to do what others refuse to do. And in the end, that difference is what will set you apart. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. Preparation for the life you want. Preparation for the opportunities you dream of. Preparation for the person you are meant to become. Without discipline, opportunity will pass you by because you won't be ready to seize it. But with discipline, when opportunity knocks, you will already be prepared to walk through the door. And here is the final truth. Comfort will end in regret, but discipline will end in reward. Regret weighs heavier than discipline ever will. Regret will follow you to the end, but discipline will build you into someone you can be proud of. So don't choose the path of least resistance. Don't settle for what is easy. Don't live your life in comfort and call it success. Choose discipline. Choose the hard road. Choose the path that tests you, stretches you, and demands everything from you. Because on the other side of discipline is the life you've been dreaming of, the goals you've been chasing, the person you were created to become. Discipline over comfort. It is the choice that defines champions, the choice that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, and the choice that will carry you to your destiny. The world is full of people who want the glory, but not the grind. Everyone wants to hold the prize, but very few want to walk the path it takes to get there. The truth is simple. You cannot separate the reward from the process. Every achievement that shines in the light was first forged in the dark. The greatest victories are born out of long seasons of unseen struggle, quiet sacrifice, and relentless discipline. If you want to taste success, you must learn not just to endure the process, but to embrace it, even when it feels heavy, even when no one else sees what you are doing. When you embrace the process, you learn to see value in the small steps. Too often we look only at the mountaintop and forget the climb. But no one wakes up at the peak of a mountain. Every step matters, every slip, every bruise, every breathless moment. Without those, the summit is impossible. That's how life is. The prize is never handed out at the start. It is reserved for those who carry the weight through valleys and storms. When you begin to appreciate the struggle, as much as the outcome. You free yourself from discouragement and start to see every trial as part of your preparation. Embracing the process teaches patience. We live in a world that celebrates instant gratification, quick results, and overnight fame. But true growth never comes instantly. A seed must die in the soil before it rises as a tree. A diamond must be pressed by time and heat before it shines. If you despise the process, you will uproot yourself before you ever bloom. Patience is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is the quiet determination to keep showing up, to keep working, even when progress feels slow and the results are hidden. Those who embrace the process understand that greatness is not measured by how quickly you arrive, but by how faithfully you endure the journey. The process is where character is formed. Anyone can appear confident when the spotlight is on, but it is what you do in the shadows that defines who you really are. The late nights of practice, the hours of study, the days of pushing forward when you feel empty. These are the moments that no one claps for, yet they are the very foundation of success. Character is forged in the furnace of repetition, discipline, and consistency. If you try to skip the process, you rob yourself of the strength and resilience that only hardship can give. Embracing the process also requires trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your vision, and trust that the effort you are pouring in today will bear fruit tomorrow. Many give up too soon because they mistake delay for denial. They think that because success hasn't arrived on their timetable, it will never come. But the process has its own timing, and often it is preparing you for more than you asked for. What you learn in the struggle equips you to handle the blessing without losing yourself in it. Without the process, the prize would crush you because you wouldn't be ready to carry its weight. There is also joy in the process, if you choose to see it. Too often we drag our feet through challenges, resenting the work and wishing it would pass quickly. But when you learn to love the grind itself, you discover that the process becomes the real reward. The discipline builds confidence. The struggle creates strength. The journey shapes gratitude. You start to realize that the destination is only one moment, but the process is a lifetime of growth. If you can fall in love with the process, you will never run out of motivation, because every day will give you purpose. Think about it. Every champion you admire, every leader you look up to, every person who made an impact on the world, they all walked through a process. They stumbled, they failed, they questioned themselves, but they kept moving forward. Their greatness was not in avoiding hardship, but in embracing it. They didn't just chase the crown. They carried the cross of sacrifice and effort until they became strong enough to wear it. What separates them from those who quit is not talent, not luck, but a decision to embrace the process no matter how hard it became. Embracing the process means refusing shortcuts. It means saying no to easy roads that lead nowhere and yes to the harder path that refines you. Shortcuts may give quick results, but they leave you unprepared for the weight of true success. Lasting achievement requires foundations built brick by brick, not flimsy walls thrown up overnight. Every time you choose to endure instead of escape, to push forward instead of turn back, you are adding strength to your foundation. That strength will hold you when storms come, when pressure increases, and when the prize finally arrives. There will be times in the process when you feel alone. There will be seasons when others don't understand why you're working so hard, why you keep going when results are invisible. But understand this, loneliness is often the companion of those on the path to greatness. It is in those silent seasons that you learn resilience, that you build inner fire, that you separate yourself from the ordinary. Embracing the process means accepting that not everyone will applaud you, not everyone will believe in you, but you keep moving because the vision burning inside you is stronger than the doubts around you. So do not despise where you are. Do not curse the grind. Do not look at your struggles as punishment. Every step you take, every battle you face, every tear you shed is part of the preparation for something greater. Embrace it, love it, cherish it, because the day will come when the reward appears, and you will realize that it was never about the prize at all. It was about who you became on the way. The reward will fade, but the character, the strength, and the resilience you built in the process will stay with you forever. The process is not your enemy. It is your ally. It is the fire that shapes you, the teacher that trains you, the road that takes you to places talent alone could never reach. When you learn to embrace it, you will no longer fear the hard days or the long nights. You will stand tall, knowing that every challenge is another step forward, so keep pressing on, keep believing, keep grinding. Embrace the process, not just the reward, for in the end, the process is where the true victory is found.